It was Valentine's Day when I caught my wife, Chloe. Her therapist, Dr. Mark Chun, was giving her a full-body physical. The silk nightgown hanging from her shoulders, the one I bought her specifically for Valentine's Day, was crumpled and barely there. I leaned against the doorframe, my phone held up and recording. "Honey, it's been 3 years. Didn't you say you had a skin allergy? Then my touch made you break out. How is Dr. Chen's treatment plan so effective?" The two people on the bed froze. Chloe shrieked, scrambling for the scattered clothes. Mark was faster, rolling off the bed to grab his white lab coat. "Don't stop on my account," I said, my smile ice cold. "You two seemed pretty invested in the therapy session. Go on. So this is what you call physical rehab." I aimed the phone's camera more deliberately. "I'll just post this to your Facebook. I'm thinking the caption should be a story of healing, a frigid patient and her hands-on doctor." Mark's face went chalk white. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Chloe clutched a sheet to her chest, her voice trembling. "Ethan, listen to me. Just let me explain." "No explaining yet." I cut her off, zooming in. "Let me get this on video. I never knew you were so flexible. Honey, you were really getting into it." Chloe finally wrangled a dress on and lunged for my phone, her eyes red. I sidestepped her easily, sticking a foot out and tripping her. "Easy there, Chloe," I said, looking down at her. "Dr. Chen hasn't even billed you for today's consultation fee yet." Mark, fumbling with his lab coat, tried to protest. "Mr. Miller, this is a misunderstanding. It's a specialized Indian therapy technique. You probably wouldn't understand." "Oh, I get it. Zero-distance rehabilitation, right?" I sneered. I tapped send on my phone screen. The video went straight to Chloe's family group chat, and, more importantly, to the iMessage of Mark Chen's fiancée. I included a little note. "Dr. Chen from your clinic is a true humanitarian. He's been personally providing my wife with pro bono physical therapy. The results are remarkable, and the patient feedback is overwhelmingly positive." A cascade of notification chimes filled the room. Mark's phone lit up like a Christmas tree. He glanced down and saw over a dozen missed calls from his fiancée. Chloe was panicking, too. In the family chat, voicemails from her mom were popping up one after another. I helpfully played the latest one on speaker. Her mother's shrill voice pierced the air. "Chloe, have you no shame? What is that video in the group chat? You've disgraced this entire family." I clicked my tongue and looked at Mark. "You hear that? That's what you call a professional review." Chloe knelt on the floor, trying to grab my leg. "Ethan, please, I'm begging you. Let's just go home and talk about this." "Go home." I bent down, patting her cheek. "Which home is that? This clinic room you've practically paid for a yearly subscription to? Or is this just your hourly rate love motel?" I pulled a thick stack of bank statements and receipts from my pocket and threw them in her face. "Annual membership for a full-body physical therapy package at a private wellness center, $58,000. Therapeutic essential oils, $8,700 a set. And let's not forget." Chloe's lips trembled. She couldn't say a word. I squatted to meet her eyes. "You know what the sickest joke is, Chloe? Just last week, my parents were saying how wonderful and responsible you are. They wanted to add your name to the deed of the house. Good thing the paperwork wasn't finalized. I'd be losing my house and my wife to another man in one fell swoop." I stood up, turning to the ashen-faced Mark Chen. "Don't you worry, doctor. The patient's family is very grateful. Tomorrow, I'm sending a custom plaque to your clinic, a healing touch that goes deep. Cured my wife's frigidity with penetrating results." Mark's face cycled through shades of green and white. Chloe finally managed to choke out a defense. "It was him. He manipulated me. He said my condition was severe and required special treatment. That's the only reason I—" "Oh, what condition?" I raised an eyebrow, looking at my wife. "The way you were screaming with pleasure just now. Wasn't that you?" I waved my phone. "I got video proof. And frankly, for a 5-minute session, Dr. Chen's technique seems a little amateur." Chloe suddenly lunged forward, wrapping her arms around my legs. "Ethan, I was wrong. We don't have to get a divorce. I'll do anything." I sighed, patting her head. "Anything." She clung to me like a drowning woman, nodding furiously. I handed her my other phone. "Then call your mother. Tell her exactly how much of my money you spent on Dr. Chen's physical therapy, and tell her how long it's been going on." Chloe froze, her fingers turning to ice. I helpfully pressed the contact for Mom. The second the call connected, my mother-in-law's roar came through the speaker. Chloe, you get your ass back here and explain yourself right now. I looked at Chloe with a gentle smile. Go on, honey. Tell Mom how many of these deep tissue physical therapy sessions you have every month. Oh, and don't forget to mention that special Indian technique. On the other end of the line, my mother-in-law was already babbling incoherently. Mark saw his chance and tried to slip away, but I grabbed his shoulder. Going somewhere? It's not your turn yet. Stay put. My mother-in-law's screaming erupted from the phone again. Chloe, are you insane? Make him delete that video. How are your father and I supposed to show our faces in public? Chloe sobbed her mother's name. I hit the speakerphone button. Holding the phone up, I said calmly, Ma'am, don't worry. Your daughter is quite the performer in the video. Would you like a private screening to study her technique? My mother-in-law was stunned silent for 2 seconds. Then her voice came back, even louder. How dare you speak to your mother-in-law like that? Ethan Miller, have you lost your damn mind? Whatever it is, we'll discuss it at home. My Chloe has always been a good, decent girl. So decent she has a man on the side? I chuckled. Did you not watch the full video I sent? The line went dead quiet. Chloe's face was ghostly white. She reached to cover my mouth, but I pushed her away. I continued. Today is Valentine's Day. She just sent him $1,314 on Venmo with a note. Thanks for the amazing session, Dr. Chun. Feeling totally rejuvenated. My mother-in-law finally broke, her voice shaking. Chloe, you really did it. Chloe completely lost it and lunged, slapping the phone and ending the call. Just then, the sound of frantic heels echoed from the hallway. Mark Chin, you get your ass out here right now. I turned to see Mark's fiancée, the clinic director's daughter, Isabella Vance, had arrived. Chloe, mortified, tried to hide behind Mark. Isabella, or Izzy as I'd later learn, walked up and slapped Mark across the face with a crisp, clean motion. You bastard. You told me you were on call tonight. On call on top of someone else's wife. Ignoring the stinging in his cheek, Mark tried to grab her hands. Izzy, listen to me. It was her. She seduced me. She said her husband couldn't perform, that she was basically a widow. It was a moment of weakness. I was just trying to help people. Her husband can't perform, so you decided to step up? Izzy's voice was like ice. Chloe's tears started flowing on cue. Ms. Vance, it's my fault. I was possessed. Please forgive us this one time. For the sake of us both being women. You think you're my league? You're filth. Izzy shot back, then turned to me. Mr. Miller, thank you. If it weren't for you, I'd still be completely in the dark about these two. I gave her a polite nod and helpfully scrolled the video to its climax, holding the phone out for her. The original file is all yours. Izzy's expression shifted from fury to contempt. That's it. That's all he's got. And he has the nerve to cheat. Mark looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. Honey, I was wrong. Can we please just go home? Chloe was still pleading with me. Too late, I said, showing a bright, toothy grin. Now we get to settle the score. Slowly, too. Wait, don't go. Chloe grew desperate and dropped to her knees. I turned back and snapped, stay for what? An encore? I spun on my heel and walked out. But I had seriously underestimated how low these two could sink. They decided to strike first. That afternoon, I met Izzy in my office to discuss our next steps. She had agreed to help me find more evidence against Mark. We had just sat down in the conference room when my receptionist knocked frantically. Mr. Miller, there's a huge scene downstairs. It's your mother-in-law and brother-in-law. They've got a banner. I rushed downstairs. A massive banner was stretched across the entrance to my company's building. Heartless cheater Ethan Miller hides assets and commits adultery. Shame. My mother-in-law was wailing on the ground while my brother-in-law, Kevin, held a megaphone. Everyone, come and see, he bellowed. My sister slaved for his family for 3 years, suffered 4 miscarriages, and developed health problems. When she went to a private clinic for help, he accused her of sleeping with her doctor. The truth is, he's trying to kick my sister to the curb so he can get with the clinic director's daughter. Speak of the devil. The so-called victim, Dr. Mark Chun, rushed to the front of the crowd. He dramatically ripped the ID badge from his coat and held it high, as if it were a flag of justice. Everyone, I am Chloe Davis's private physician, Dr. Mark Chun. I must stand here today to defend my professional integrity. Behind him, two young women unfurled another banner. Yellow text on a red background. A healer's touch, a miracle worker, a beacon of hope for all patients. Below the banner was a thick stack of what looked like thank you letters. Mark took a deep breath, facing a sea of smartphone cameras, and declared, "I have specialized in the rehabilitation of female sexual dysfunction for 10 years. I have treated over 2,700 patients with a 92.3% success rate. These letters of gratitude are just the tip of the iceberg." Kevin immediately chimed in with the megaphone. "You hear that? My sister is one of those patients. She suffered from intimacy issues for years, but she wanted to make her husband happy, to give him a child. Dr. Chun was providing legitimate medical treatment, and Ethan Miller secretly filmed it and slandered them. My sister has been framed." The crowd of onlookers erupted. "I heard that kind of therapy involves pelvic floor massage. Maybe it really was just a misunderstanding. That poor doctor, just trying to help people, and he gets dragged through the mud." I leaned against the steps, watching the flicker of triumph in Chloe's eyes. For miscarriages, I had never even had proper marital relations with her. The lies were astonishingly bold. Izzy muttered beside me with a cold laugh. "What's next, the sob story?" Right on cue, Mark pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed at his eyes. "I don't care what happens to me, but I cannot allow the clinic's reputation to be tarnished. If you don't believe me today, I will resign my position and prove my innocence with my life." He then spun around and roared at me. "Ethan Miller, you seduce my fiancée, you set me up and film me, and you twist a legitimate medical procedure into an affair. What is your real motive?" My mother-in-law joined the chorus, crying to the heavens. "Oh, the injustice. Our Chloe is a virtuous woman, and this scumbag cheats on her and then slanders her. Everyone, get this on camera. These two are trying to ruin an innocent man's career." Kevin aimed the megaphone at my employees who were watching from the lobby. "You all be the judge. My sister was getting therapy so she could give the Miller family a son. She's a simple woman who was manipulated by a monster. These two are despicable." My colleagues were buzzing. Whispers started to spread. "So Mr. Miller really is the one who cheated. He sleeps with the doctor's girlfriend and then tries to frame him. The rich really are different. His wife gets medical treatment, and he calls it an affair. That's insane." I raised a hand, signaling the receptionist. The massive LED screen above the building's entrance flickered and switched inputs. In the next second, a crystal-clear video filled the screen. On screen, Mark was unbuttoning his shirt while whispering greasy, sweet nothings into Chloe's ear. "Babe, you sure your husband has no idea?" "Don't worry, darling." Pretending to be frigid was a stroke of genius. "My husband never dares to touch me. I belong only to you. All right, my love, let's begin your rehabilitation." The crowd gasped. Izzy delivered the final blow. She took the megaphone, her voice soft but carrying. "Ladies and gentlemen, if your wife, or if you yourself, suffer from a similar condition, please remember to book an appointment with our specialist, Dr. Mark Chun. He guarantees a cure. And if he can't cure you, he'll offer himself up, personally." Laughter, catcalls, and a frantic clicking of phone cameras filled the air. Mark's face turned the color of ash. Chloe's legs gave out, and Kevin barely managed to catch her. I walked down the steps and crouched beside her, speaking in a voice only she could hear. "Honey, I was just going to let you two be together. I never knew you were this rotten." I stood up, clapped my hands, and faced the cameras. "All right, everyone, show's over. We'll be handling the rest of this through legal channels. Feel free to come to the courthouse for the main event." Kevin suddenly lunged, swinging a fist at my head. "I'll kill you, you bastard." I wiped the blood from my forehead and smiled at him. "Assault, bro. You got a whole crowd of witnesses. Enjoy your time in lockup." As the police arrived, Kevin was taken away for questioning. My mother-in-law, seething with rage, had no choice but to follow them to the station to try and bail her son out. "Pleasure doing business with you, partner." Izzy was laughing so hard her shoulders shook. She nudged my arm. "Hey, Mr. Miller, my receptionist thinks you're a total badass. Why the long face?" I wiped the last of the blood from my temple. "Everyone back to work. Double quarterly bonuses if we hit our targets." The crowd dispersed instantly, the sound of furious typing filling the office. She tilted her head. "Round one goes to you. What's your next move?" Get back the $880,000 I paid for her treatment over the last 3 years. And make sure she leaves the marriage with nothing. Izzy rested her chin on her hand, her tone playful. Married 3 years, and you really never cheated? Not once. I gave her a look. Me, you want to see my collection of worn-out fleshlights? She burst out laughing, her eyes crinkling. Does that stuff even work? You sure you don't have other issues? I shrugged. At least it helps relieve stress. I held out my hand to her, a playful grin on my face. You're a doctor, right? Take my pulse. See if I'm deficient. Izzy slapped my hand away. Save it for your ex-wife's deposition. She got serious. So, how are you getting the house and the car back? My voice turned cold. I've already contacted a guy who handles asset recovery. He's selling the house and car at a discount, and his crew will handle the eviction. Want to come watch the show? She extended her hand. Deal. I love a good show. The smart lock beeped, but I paused with my hand on the door. Mr. Miller, are you sure this is your house? I let out a short, bitter laugh and held up a hand to signal the 4 burly movers behind me to wait. Izzy raised an eyebrow. Looks like some dogs just can't learn new tricks. She pulled out her phone, ready to go live. I nodded and kicked the bedroom door open. Of course. The two of them were tangled up in the sheets, practicing a foreign language. Mark was breathing heavily. We'll transfer the deed, the investment funds, all the cash and foreign currency tonight. Then I'll take you abroad, babe. We'll be set for life. When they saw us, they froze like a pair of deer caught in headlights. I whistled. Wow, couldn't get enough at the clinic. So you brought the party to my house. Izzy zoomed in with her camera, helpfully adding, smile, you two. This is going to be played in court. Chloe shrieked and grabbed a pillow to cover her chest. Mark tried to pull away, but their combined momentum sent them tumbling off the bed with a loud thud. I'm suing you. This is breaking and entering. Mark's face was beet red as he scrambled behind the sofa, trying to cover himself. It's a misunderstanding. Shut up. I kicked him over and yelled to the guys in the hall. Fellas, come on in and get a look at this. The crew piled into the room, their leader declaring he'd do this job for free. Chloe screamed, clutching the pillow. Ethan, are you trying to ruin my life? They scrambled for their clothes and bolted out the door. I didn't stop them. I looked around the room. The place had been ransacked. The safe was open, and investment contracts, my designer watches, cash, and jewelry were all stuffed into a suitcase. I nodded to the movers. Gentlemen, you all saw it. Illegal transfer of marital assets. Caught them red-handed. I'll need you as witnesses. I picked up Chloe's phone from the floor. She'd forgotten it in her haste. I handed it to the head mover. Unlock it, back everything up. You know the drill. When he handed the phone back, his expression was priceless. Dude, your wife is something else. I scrolled through the screen, and the more I saw, the more I had to laugh. Last December, Chloe, just bought you a Tesla Model 3. 38 grand. Put on my husband's a supplementary card. Dr. Chun, you're the best, babe. I'll take you for a ride in it tonight. This February, Chloe, remember to take the pills I got you. Don't disappoint me next time. Dr. Chun, got it. I bought you a new nightgown, too. Wear it for me. I took a deep breath, packaged the entire chat history, cloud photos, and transaction records, and airdropped them to my lawyer's office. Then I said to the empty room, evidence secured. Thank for the gift, honey. I stood up and waved my hand. Tossed their clothes out. Seal the luggage and inventory, everything. I listed the house at 15% below market value for a quick sale. Grabbing the few valuables I had left, I was about to head to my office. Izzy tilted her chin toward her car. Get in. You can crash at my place tonight. I started to refuse, but she added, I can't have you getting jumped in an alley somewhere. I need my partner for the main event. What, you think I'm going to eat you? Fine, let's go, I said with a resigned smile. Her apartment wasn't far from my house. I plopped down on her couch, and she wanted to get me some tea. Something was digging into my back. I shifted and looked. My expression turned instantly awkward. When she came back, she saw me holding the silicone, bullet-shaped toy, its motor humming softly in standby mode. Izzy's ears turned beet red as she snatched it away. Curiosity, purely from medical research. She grabbed it so fast she accidentally hit the power button, and it started vibrating intensely. Her face got even redder. She stammered, Mark never touched me. I think he was getting drained elsewhere. He was always complaining about how seeing patients made him sick to my stomach, Then he'd come home and act like a saint. "Oh," I said, trying to be helpful, "right? It's just one of those deep tissue massagers." The atmosphere was incredibly strange. Before it could get any weirder, my phone rang. It was Mark. I held a finger to my lips at Izzy and put it on speaker. "Ethan, Mr. Miller, I'm begging you." Mark's voice was hoarse. "I'll return the $880,000, and I'll add another $300,000 for emotional distress. Just please withdraw the evidence." I opened her fridge, grabbed a beer, and said nothing. He kept talking, digging his own grave. "I'll confess everything. Chloe and I dated in college. After she got married, we met at a reunion. She got me drunk, forced herself on me, and then said if I didn't continue the affair, she'd accuse me of assault. It was a moment of weakness. She coerced me." Izzy's jaw dropped. So they were old flames. I recorded the entire call, then finally replied, "All right. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., the Timepiece Coffee Shop. We'll talk about the refund in person." As soon as I hung up, Chloe called. "Ethan, you're the one I've always loved. Mark forced me. He threatened me. Let's go to the police and report him together, please." "Okay, tomorrow at the coffee shop. We'll talk." "Really? You still believe me?" "Of course," I said, my smile razor sharp. "Make sure you dress up." Izzy applauded. "Brilliant." I stretched. "I'll take the couch. Tomorrow, you're coming with me to watch the dogs fight." The next day, I got to the coffee shop early and set up a hidden camera. Mark arrived first, looking furtive. The moment he saw me, he practically bowed. "Mr. Miller, I brought $100,000 in cash. The rest I can pay in installments." I gestured for him to sit just as Chloe walked in. The second she saw Mark, they both froze. "Weren't you going to the hospital to get your things? Didn't you say you were going home to see your mom?" I waved. "Hey, you two. No need to be shy. We're settling all our accounts today." First, I played Mark's recording. "She got me drunk. Said if I didn't continue, she'd accuse me of assault. A moment of weakness." Then, I played Chloe's version. "He forced me. He threatened me. Let's go to the police together." Chloe's eyes blazed with fury. "You shameless bastard. You were going to sell me out." Mark slapped her across the face. "And what the hell do you think you were doing here?" They both shot up, and the coffee shop became their boxing ring. They didn't disappoint. "You were the one secretly moving your husband's assets, saying you wanted to run away with me." Mark yelled. "You used your position as the director's future son-in-law to do whatever you wanted at the clinic, sleeping with your patients." Chloe screamed back. "And what about that baby you aborted? Whose was it? Because I always use protection. You hit on every nurse in the department. You were sleeping with the female department head, and you used my credit card to pay for it all." I listened with great interest, quietly recording the entire exchange. Izzy was speechless, her eyes growing colder by the second. 10 minutes later, they finally ran out of steam. I held up my phone. "Thanks for providing all this evidence. Saves me the trouble of gathering it myself." They both lunged for my phone, but I leaned back, pulling out my other one, already backed up to the cloud, and sent to my lawyer. "Don't waste your energy." Mark dropped to his knees with a thud, grabbing my leg, snot and tears streaming down his face. "Mr. Miller, please give me a break. I have an elderly mother, a sick father, a sister in school, a broken home. They all depend on me." Chloe knelt beside him. "Ethan, we were married. Don't you have any lingering affection? Are you really going to watch me get dragged through the mud?" I bent down, my voice sincere. "Oh, that's fine then. We never really had a marriage. So no, I don't mind at all." Izzy snorted with laughter and added, "He's right. You should be asking your benefactor for mercy." "Don't worry," I said, straightening up. "I won't tell anyone about this. I'll let the entire nation help me keep your secret." I stood and waved to the cafe manager. "Put their bill and any damages on their tab." Outside, I stretched under the sun. Izzy looked at me and smiled. "You know, I'm actually starting to find this whole mess kind of fun." "Thanks." I gave a dry laugh. "The fun's just getting started. See you in court." Chloe never thought I would actually sue her. We ran into each other before the hearing. She begged me to drop the lawsuit, promising she'd come home and be a good wife, that she'd satisfy my every need. Izzy scoffed that she'd finally honed her skills and was ready to take me for a ride. Her mother accused me of being a heartless monster, saying she was blind to have let her daughter marry me, and that the last 3 years were like living with a dog. I didn't say much. I just walked into the courtroom. At the defendant's table, Chloe and Mark sat side by side. All rise. The judge's gavel strike was quiet, but it made them both flinch. I stood, my voice calm. Your Honor, I am suing my wife, Chloe Davis, for adultery, the fraudulent transfer of marital assets, and conspiring with Dr. Mark Chun to falsify a medical condition to defraud me of money for treatment. They are implicated in illegal appropriation, fraud, and adultery. I request that the court grant a divorce, order the return of all assets, and hold both parties legally accountable. Chloe's lawyer started to speak, but she suddenly shot to her feet, tears streaming. Your Honor, it wasn't an affair. I'm a victim. Ethan Miller abused me. He was emotionally distant, and he burned me with cigarettes. He whipped me. All the bruises on my body are from him. She pulled up her dress, revealing several red marks on her thigh and patches of blue and purple on her skin. Her knees were raw. The courtroom gallery murmured in shock. I hate abusers. Rich guys are all the same. Thinks his money lets him do whatever he wants. What a scumbag. I smirked and pulled a USB drive from my folder, plugging it into the court system. Your Honor, I submit my first piece of evidence. The large screen lit up with my iMessage history with Chloe. Me? Honey, it's been a while. Maybe tonight. Chloe, don't push me. I told you, I'm not interested in that. When you touch me, I feel sick. Can't you be more considerate? Me. Are you still going to your therapy sessions? Chloe. That's for my health. You think I enjoy it? I'm doing it all for you, for this family. Your Honor, I said flatly. She claims I abused her, but I'm not the one who caused those injuries. I played the second video file. On the screen, Chloe and Mark were engaged in some very specific role play involving props. The courtroom erupted. Holy crap, is this woman insane? She tried to pass that off as domestic abuse. She was into it. That doctor has some weird hobbies. Chloe's face was ashen. No, that's not. That was a type of Indian rehabilitation technique. I ignored her and moved on. The third piece of evidence, Venmo transaction records. Chloe Davis Mark Chun, $1, $3.14. No, thanks for the amazing session, Dr. Chun, feeling totally rejuvenated. Chloe Davis Mark Chun, $5, $200. Note, tonight's rehab was especially effective. Chloe Davis Mark Chun, $8, $8.88. Note, love you. I'll be your patient forever. I turned to the judge. These transfers, all from a supplementary credit card in my name, plus the clinic fees, total $880,000. I request the full restitution of these funds and that both parties be investigated for fraud, illegal appropriation, and adultery. The defense attorney looked sick. Before he could speak, Mark grabbed the microphone. Your Honor, I've been framed. I'm a legitimate doctor. She seduced me. Chloe shrieked. You liar. You said my condition was severe and required deep treatment. You said I'd be infertile if I didn't do it. You told me you'd cured over 2,000 women who all wrote you thank you letters. You've slept with half the women at your clinic. The two of them began tearing each other apart right there in court. It took 3 sharp cracks of the gavel to silence them. Then came the best part. The judge looked at Chloe's lawyer. Does the defense have anything further to add? The lawyer was silent for a moment. Then he stood up and spoke in a cold, clear voice. Your Honor, I would like to state for the record that I am not, in fact, Ms. Davis's legal counsel. I appear to have gotten lost and accidentally sat at the defense table. My apologies, I will see myself out. Furthermore, as a concerned citizen, I must urge the court to punish these 2 degenerates to the fullest extent of the law. The courtroom was silent for 3 seconds, then burst into roaring laughter. Chloe completely broke down, sobbing. I dropped the case. I want to go home. We can talk about this at home. Mark spun on her. Are you an idiot? Go home. You're the defendant, you moron. From the gallery, Chloe's mother jumped up, pointing a finger at Mark. It was you. You seduced my daughter. You monster. You ruined our family. Mark roared back. Your daughter was the one who took her clothes off? I couldn't help myself. The dogfight was on, and the whole room was watching. The judge slammed his gavel, his voice booming over the chaos. The facts of this case are clear, and the evidence is irrefutable. The court rules as follows. 1. The divorce between the plaintiff, Ethan Miller, and the defendant, Chloe Davis, is granted. 2. Defendants Chloe Davis and Mark Chun are to jointly repay the plaintiff $880,000 in treatment fees and pay an additional $300,000 in punitive damages. 3. Due to the illegal transfer of marital assets, defendant Chloe Davis will forfeit all claims to marital property. 4. The matter of Mark Chen's suspected fraud and medical malpractice is to be referred to the district attorney's office for criminal investigation. The gavel fell. Silence. I stood up to leave. Behind me, Chloe scrambled forward and grabbed my leg. Honey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have lied. It's always been you that I love. I push her off, right? Keep telling yourself that. Whatever makes you happy. I walked out of the courthouse and into the bright sunlight. Izzy was waiting, and she tipped her chin up at me. Congrats, Mr. Miller. That was impressive. Clean, efficient. I like it. I lit a cigarette, took a drag, and gave a bitter smile. Congratulations to you, too. She raised an eyebrow. What's next? I stubbed out the cigarette and got in my car. Dinner. We're celebrating tonight, and we're not going home sober. Let's go, she grinned. I want to go to the most expensive place in town and order the best champagne. Done. I'll even order you a male model for dessert. Get out of here. You're the only one on the menu. By midnight, Izzy was drunk. She was carrying her heels in one hand, walking in a zigzag down the empty street. Ethan, she said suddenly, looking up at me with hazy eyes. I'm really sad. Yeah, I said softly. I know. That was my first real relationship, and I end up with a piece of trash like Mark. I really thought it was love. I was so worried about him being overworked, and the whole time he was just using my dad's position to get away with murder. The bastard. Thinking of my own marriage, I laughed without humor. I got you beat. I was a total doormat for 3 years, and I have nothing to show for it. She snorted. You? A doormat. You were ruthless in there. I'm a good guy. I protested. You're looking at this city's most devoted husband. Oh, Mr. Devotion. You know, I said, we actually have a lot in common. Oh yeah, like what? She asked. Like we're both experts in the use of certain battery-operated marital aids. She poked me playfully. Does that make us 2 peas in a pod? Hello, Miss P, I said, catching her hand in mine. She froze. On some strange impulse, I leaned down and kissed her. She didn't pull away. She didn't even open her eyes. But I could feel her eyelashes fluttering against my cheek. When we got to her apartment building, she pulled me toward the elevator. Come up for some tea. To sober up. The moment the door closed behind us, there was only darkness and the sound of our breathing. My back was against the wall as she stood on her toes to kiss me back. Harder this time, her teeth bumping against my lip, a taste of salt and iron. Izzy, shut up, she breathed. You think you can kiss me and I won't retaliate. The next second, she pushed me out the door, the motion swift and decisive. Hey, what? She leaned against the doorframe, her eyes drunk, but her smile sly. I'm not a lowlife like Mark and Chloe. Then what are you? Someone you have to chase. She wagged a finger at me. Flowers, dinner dates, movies, love letters. You can't skip a single step. I want a real, sweet, honest-to-God romance. She blew me a kiss and slammed the door. I stared at the closed door for a long moment, then looked down and started to laugh. Fine. Well, God doesn't like a good chase, especially when it's for a girl like her. Looking back on it all, it's funny how things work out. This wasn't a rebound or some kind of revenge fling. I wanted a real, out-in-the-open us. The next day, I showed up at her clinic. Dr. Vance, I've got this pain in my lower back. I need to see a specialist. She pulled down her mask, looking me up and down. Mr. Miller, that sounds like a deficiency. I'll need to perform a hands-on examination. I spread my arms wide. I'm all yours. She laughed. Get out of here. I'm fully booked. We'll talk after work. And so we started dating. We ate, we explored, we enjoyed the simple bliss of getting to know each other. On the 100th day, I booked out an entire restaurant. Isabella Vance, will you marry me? She laughed until she started crying. Where are the flowers? I pulled out a bouquet of 99 electric roses. With every press of a button, the petals would vibrate and unfold with a soft whir. She turned bright red and shoved the bouquet into my arms. You's a freak, she said. But yes, I will. On our wedding night, looking at the beautiful, charming Izzy, I found myself just staring. She glared at me. What are you spacing out for? Still thinking about your old cup? Well, which is better, me or it? I grinned. I'll have to run a few diagnostic tests before I can give you an honest comparison. She blushed and gave a nearly imperceptible nod, not realizing she was about to have her world turned upside down. Just after our honeymoon, Izzy posted the newlywed workout schedule on the back of our bedroom door. A minimum of 6 of her private sessions per week, with Sundays off for recovery. She chewed on the end of a pen and raised an eyebrow at me. "If you're scared, Mr. Miller, just say so." I took a picture of the schedule and sent it to my group chat. "You are all my witnesses. From this day forward, I, Ethan Miller, will not stay up late or go out drinking. I will fully cooperate with the boss ladies' training regimen." The chat filled with a chorus of RIPs. My best friend sent me a private message. "Dude, take care of yourself." That night, Izzy came in wearing another new lace negligee. I was on the floor, my eyes squeezed shut as I struggled through a set of weighted hip thrusts. She was laughing, coaching me. "Don't play dead, Miller. Squeeze." "Dr. Vance," I groaned. "I just turned in my homework this morning. I haven't recovered yet." She smiled and stroked my hair. "Hush, I'm a doctor. Don't you think I'd know if your body had recovered? Come on, honey. 5 more seconds." I stared up at the ceiling, shedding a single, silent tear. Who knew a story that started with cheating, lawsuits, and public humiliation would end with a rigorous physical therapy regimen, and a lower back that would never know peace again? We were like 2 ships that had finally found their harbor, bumping against each other with the happy, clanging sounds of joy. A sore back, weak knees. That was just the price of trading the misery of my past for a lifetime of her embrace. Finally, the 2 peas found their pod and lived happily and exhaustingly ever after. The end.